Welcome, Madridistas. How are you? How are you doing? There's a lot to talk about, a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Federico Valverde right away because this has me really confused. If the coach wasn't Bielsa, it would be clear to us. Hey, man, you can't have a bad relationship with all your coaches this year, right? Of course, it's Bielsa. It's Bielsa. I mean, Bielsa is the kind of guy who does this. Honestly, I mean, this man, like I say here in this tweet, I think this man needs help. This man needs help, but I get the feeling he's one of those who won't let himself be helped. Pay attention to the interview. I'm not going to make this too big because I don't think FIFA will have any issues. But anyway, you can see it well from there, right? Okay. Um, I get the feeling this man is one of those who won't let himself be helped. They say some pretty shocking things about him, really shocking, like he's dictatorial in the locker room. Notice that even before the match, they were already saying that, well, not just before this match, but for a long time now, they shouldn't come here saying, no, Luis Suarez was right. Come on, Luis Suarez isn't fit to play for any national team at this World Cup, okay? That's one thing. And another thing is that this man is not the right person to coach any national team at a World Cup anymore. He has failed at World Cups, and as a coach, he is not what they always told us he was. But anyway, I insist someone who does this, listen up, is waiting for the interview, gets grilled by the journalists. Well, he's the kind of guy who gives everyone around him a hard time, right? Look, come on, do it already. How harsh. Come on, do it already. With total contempt for everything around him, it's incredible. Has he ever let slip a phrase where he was actually right? Because, of course, even a broken clock is right once a day. Recently, I don't know if I mentioned it here in a video, the topic of hydration breaks, the hydration break, right? Well, in soccer, they've basically turned it into 4 quarters, just like they announce it, right? And it's clear, but I mean, agreeing with this gentleman on that, and he actually explained it well that day, doesn't mean he's lucid all the time, right? Pay attention to the interview because honestly, it's really worth watching. Now, let's analyze a bit. We're going to talk about Spain. We're going to talk about Federico Valverde, of course, and about this Canovio guy who, honestly, if they'd left him out there for 15 more minutes, he would have injured 2 or 3 Spaniards. I mean, what Uruguay did today makes Getafe look like the poster child for fair play, right? Hey, we knew it was incredible. The Uruguayans were going to play rough, and if they faced elimination, they'd get even rougher. With all due respect to the Uruguayans, I have Uruguayan friends. I think it's an amazing football nation, truly amazing. Hey, 2 World Cups, the 2 Olympic Games before the World Cups. That's why they put 4 stars on their shirts. That's hardly debatable. But their 15 Copa America titles, I don't even know how many they have. 3 million inhabitants, a football nation, you have to take your hat off to. And besides, all the Uruguayan friends I have, everyone I know from there is good people, and I really like them. But man, I mean, in this World Cup, the job should have been done against Cape Verde and against Arabia, at least get a win from those 2 matches. Well, that's the analysis, and pay attention to the syllables and the way he answers journalists, man. Thank you.
Okay. All right, okay.
All right.
The interview did take some time to happen.
Marcelo, well, what is the outcome of Uruguay's journey in the World Cup?
Well, no, I wasn't able to bring out the quality Uruguay had in its players.
Why did you substitute Federico Valverde when Viñas came on?
I was looking for the team to have more presence in attack.
What did you discuss with Muslera at halftime that led you to substitute him?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing? It's just that, man, it's now, he asked him the precise questions. He asked the question, evaluation of Uruguay. They're not among the 16 teams in the World Cup finals. An evaluation of that, the substitution of Valverde, Muslera's situation, and that's it. I mean, what's the point? And this gentleman, well, always answering in this tone about Valverde. What we said before. If Bielsa wasn't the coach, we'd be saying about this guy, what's going on with him and his coaches this year. Let's leave it at that, since the other one has been involved in this process with his national team. But during the match, how many times did you see Valverde? He's a player with Real Madrid, omnipresent. Well, when he's been in good form, which is most of the time in the end, looking at this year's performance, well, look, this year he's had his best performance as a Real Madrid player, the 3 goals against Manchester City, but then it's been a lackluster year. In fact, we've seen Valverde perform better lately as a right back than as a midfielder with Madrid. except for that match and a few others, but about this match against Spain in the World Cup. It's just that we had, when was Valverde substituted? I don't remember the exact moment, but it was very early, already in the second half. We kept asking, where's Federico? Where is he? And Bielsa, when he explains why he took Valverde off, he might be right because he wanted to strengthen the attack a bit more, but a coach who doesn't get the most out of such a useful player like Valverde, with shots from outside the box, with so much range, well, we already know what Federico is. He's not doing his job well, but the other guy needs to do his part too, right? But anyway, I insist, since Bielsa is there, okay, look, it's almost a year to throw away the season, whatever, okay? Now, at Madrid, careful. Yesterday I was talking with Pereiro, it's in the video. And speaking of departures, he's not the first one to tell me that at Madrid they're really thinking hard about Valverde because they have a lot of doubts, even though that's not what it is. It's not the impression the club gives. Because, and that's where the captain's armband comes in. It's considered that, hey, he's worthy, he deserves it. This is a bit for the outside world to wear that armband. You already know how I think, especially since the episode with Chouameni, I wouldn't give him the captain's armband. I don't want him to leave Madrid or be forced out. Valverde, for me, is a player who, well, if he calms down, if he relaxes, if some work is done with him, which needs to be done, he's very useful, as you'd expect. But for me, the captaincy of Real Madrid needs to rest on someone else, on another type of person, someone who is more emotionally controlled. Honestly, and I'm sorry if this hurts anyone, because yes, we really love those who have made us so happy in recent years at Real Madrid. But guys, no, it just can't be. It can't be. But anyway, the match, man. Let's see if I can spot this guy. Look, here he is. No, this guy, man. Several. Well, actually, Nico de la Cruz, look at his namesake, Nico Williams. He kicks him at the end of the match out of pure frustration. We knew this was going to happen. But to lose his cool like that, but what's with this guy? What happened with Canovio was crazy. A guy who, before the red card, should have already seen 3 or 4 yellow cards. I mean, at the very least, maybe even a red card for that tackle he made. I don't remember who it was against. It was on Pedri, I think. By the way, we'll talk about Pedri and some Spanish players and about Spain's game. Spain, for me, honestly, it seemed terrible. But it's impressive that even playing like that, Spain doesn't concede a goal. It's true that they faced the worst Uruguay in recent years, Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia. And by the way, I want to see Argentina score a goal against Cape Verde. I want to see them round of 32, Argentina versus Cape Verde. But anyway, the thing is, well, yes, they were kicking like crazy. And then allowing it, this real scoundrel who is the referee of the match, Ismail Elfat, the American referee, born in Casablanca. What's more, FIFA has given this guy authority. I mean, they consider him one of the best referees. That's why he's at the World Cup. And I think this guy has refereed us before. I mean, his face is familiar. I don't watch the MLS. I don't watch it. In theory, this man referees here, and I've already seen him in several matches. It's the worst refereeing in the whole World Cup, the worst. The most blatant mistake was the one the referee allowed yesterday in the match between Germany and Ecuador. But the worst refereeing overall in a match has been this one. Danger for all the teams, and above all, the match got out of her hands because she didn't punish the Uruguayan serious rough play. Besides, there was a Pericol who was acting in a way that was really driving me crazy, because they were all against Spain. Some people might say, hey, in the end, there could have been a penalty committed by Dani Olmo. For me, it's not a penalty because it's the Uruguayan player who goes in without really trying to play the ball. Just making contact with the Spanish player isn't a penalty for me. Now, I've seen penalties overturned like that. In football, penalties have been called like that, but it's no longer his responsibility because it's very hard to see it on the field. It's up to a Nicaraguan, I think, who was in the VAR. And for me, she did well, because for me, that should never be a penalty. And we leave Spain's situation for last, which has been, damn, Spain like this is not going to win the World Cup. Not a chance. I mean, not a chance. I'm going to go player by player so I don't forget anyone. First off, Olmo hasn't started or played much, and I don't understand why Luis de la Fuente doesn't use him more. With Spain, Olmo has no restrictions, and so it's not like it's hard to start him. Olmo, he has to play all the time. Spain in the Euros, actually the match against Germany, I think it's because we have Olmo on the field and not Pedri. What happened with Pedri today, and Pedri is a footballer you will never hear me say is a fraud or a fake footballer. No, I think Pedri is a very good player. Pedri has frustrated me, just like Rodri, constantly making the wrong decisions. I mean, how to position themselves, and what bothers me is that they know how to do it very well. They really know how to do it very well. Imprecisión, inaccuracies, erratic plays, lost balls, passes to the opponent, but not just them. I've also seen terrible passes to the opponent from other players today. They were all like that. And I think that comes from their attitude. That is, the attitude in today's match against Uruguay wasn't the same as in the match against Saudi Arabia, and it was the same as in the match against Cape Verde. In other words, they think this can be won easily. We are much better because we always have the ball. My computer almost froze. If we always have the ball, they're not going to create any danger for us. Well, yes, they did create danger, and maybe another team with a bit more effectiveness up front could send you home. Austria or Algeria, let's see who we get in the round of 32. Who could do it to us, because Uruguay just can't score. They haven't managed more than a draw against Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia. And well, let's not even mention these other two teams that barely attacked Spain or didn't attack at all, right? That's why they don't score on you, because besides you protect yourself, you defend with the ball. But the mistakes in today's match against Uruguay, if you ask me, Spain has no chance of winning the World Cup playing like this and might not even reach the quarterfinals. It's likely they won't even make it to the quarterfinals. Notice that actually one of the best has been Baena. Well, I mean, he was the one who scored the goal. Well, we haven't talked about Muslera. Well, we talked about Muslera the other day. It's just that the goal was a gift from a goalkeeper who should have retired from the national team ages ago. And well, they have their own thing going on there. It's like there are no goalkeepers in Uruguay. They just won't allow it. They just won't allow it. Incredible, right? Incredible. Lamine Yamal, I see him acting too cocky, way too cocky. He's had 2 or 3 good plays, but not wanting to sprint. Well, I can kind of understand that because of the injury. But hey, guys, if you're already fit to play almost the whole match, man, and above all, he was getting kicked a lot, right? Because he was playing a bit with the Uruguayans' desperation, but that way of playing, I don't like it. He's not the Lamine Yamal from the Euros where he played differently. This kid, seriously, the fame and all that, it's not good for him. I mean, it's not good for him. I see him acting too cocky. It bothers me because I've seen it with Vinicius too. The attitude of not wanting to run because you think you're better. If you act like that, they'll smash you, kid. But anyway, I've seen Cucurella play really well, honestly, as always. Cucurella is a safe bet. Also a bit imprecise at some moments in the match, but just like the rest of his teammates. I preferred him to Marcos Llorente, who defended well. Llorente got beaten a few times in the first half, but less or not at all in the second. To me, Pedro Porro as a fullback is more incisive. He has more bite when he pushes up to the end line. Marcos Llorente might offer more defensive security due to his athleticism, but as a technically skilled footballer, I think Pedro Porro is better. I expected to see Mikel Merino play better, but oh well. And in general, that's it, a low level from Spain. It's a poor showing from Spain compared to what they can do, which is much more than what they've shown. I mean, I think it was largely because of the condition of the pitch, and it really surprised me because I thought the stadium there in Guadalajara, by the way, the scene of a robbery against Spain in World Cup history, incredible. I mean, will people from my generation remember that? That goal by Michel against Brazil in that first match of Mexico 86, it was in this stadium, right? But about the grass, I mean, is it just me or am I crazy? When I looked at the details of the grass, there were many parts that were lifted up. I haven't heard much criticism about the grass, but to me, it seemed like a big part of the mistakes in Spain's ball control, positioning, and passing were due to the condition of the grass. Even so, there were many mistakes that weren't because of the field at all. But well, it's a bit of everything, right? The referee, the grass, the lack of attitude, and the lack of freshness from a team that is definitely not the same as the one from the Euro Cup. You can tell from miles away, if Spain doesn't improve. Watch out for Austria or Algeria. Be careful. Be careful because in the last World Cups, we've already had Morocco, Russia, and so on. I hope all goes well for you. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hype it up too. It really helps. See you next time. Have a nice weekend. Bye.